Hello, everybody, and welcome back once again to the WBN flagship show, the flagship podcast. I'm joined tonight once again by Damon on commentary, and of course, the president of the Wisdom Bank Network, Mr. Tom Bajork. Good evening, gentlemen. Talk to me.
What's up, Mike? What's up, Tom?
Hey guys,
Welcome back.
You guys got the floor.
I'll start, Damon. I was writing down some notes for us to talk about here, and it was funny because right when I was writing down notes, I looked at my phone where I get news alerts, and it was so fitting for this podcast because Walmart today announced that in 4,500 locations across the country, they are going to have buy now, pay later loans. 4,500 locations, nationwide, I guess maybe worldwide. But I just thought that was so fitting because, these companies will do anything to squeeze every dollar they can or every penny out of these consumers. So, the way I look at it, it's bad enough that Walmart crushed small businesses and put millions of people out of work. And the idea, we were talking today, Damon, about, all the lies that we live with, and one of them is the infamous lie that, moving manufacturing away from America, was going to help us, which is just an absolute joke. So I did some numbers here before our podcast. We've lost 7 million manufacturing jobs in the last 40 years. 7 million. We don't make anything anymore as a country. So I kind of want to bring up a topic of, they're telling us that moving all this manufacturing overseas is good for us, Americans, and good for our country. But really what it appears is happening is we're getting to be addicted to buying junk products from overseas, in return for losing our high-paying jobs. It's really sad. So, right before the podcast, I read that article and I just thought that's just so fitting. Like, why don't we squeeze every penny out of every, middle class to poor person just for the benefit of a company while all the good jobs, went overseas. So I don't know. What do you think about that, Damon?
I think, well, first and foremost, I think it was probably always part of their plan to take the power away from the people, right? Because that's what you're doing when you take the jobs away from the people. You're taking the power away from the people. You're taking the opportunities. You're taking away the future. You're taking away people's future when you do that. I think this whole Walmart, Amazon monopolizing the entire market. I know, Tom, you brought up this story of during the pandemic when they made you guys shut your furniture store down, but they allowed Walmart to stay open. They allowed people to still go in Walmart with thousands of people, close proximity to each other, um, and buy couches, TVs, whatever they needed. None of that stuff was important at that time. The pandemic was so scary and so it was so dramatized, right? It was so oh my God, get what you can and get back in the house. Uh, but yeah, it's just fitting to what their plan is here, what their agenda is. Taking the jobs away from the people, and what's left after that? Uh, there's no jobs in these. They say that the economy's doing good and there's all these new jobs. Where? Where? I know they say this and they got stats to back it up. Uh, but where? Where are these jobs at? Uh, I don't see it. I see people talking about trying to find a better job or trying to get better pay at the job they're at with no success. Uh, but yeah, where are they at, Tom? I know where they're at. Mexico. Korea, Bangkok, China, Japan, Indonesia. Look at all the clothes that you buy. Look at all the goods and products that you have delivered. Just check the tag. See where they were made. It won't be from here. I think
That's what's crazy, Damon, is living in the South. If you drive around the Carolinas to all these little towns, like it's really sad, man. It's We used to be the textile, capital of the world, and there's all these little towns with these massive factories, and then right by the factories, and this was all built like in the after World War II, so some before then, but basically you'd see a huge factory with about 100, what I'd call nice middle class homes. They're all boarded up, they're all vacant, they're all, the factories are closed down. But, so you ask where the jobs went. Well, yeah, the jobs went to Malaysia and China. And, you know, I mean, people need to do their research. And, like, I told everybody I was in Dubai earlier this year. It was just an eye opening experience. I mean, just Google downtown Shanghai or any of the big provinces in China. I mean, they're building these massive cities, and it's just they, everyone tells us that America has the greatest cities, et cetera, et cetera. Well, that's where all our money went. So basically, like I said before, we swapped good-paying manufacturing jobs, and in return, we got a bunch of cheap, foreign products that we don't need, essentially. But now adding to what I was talking about before in the furniture business, we used to have a rep that came to us, and he worked, I won't name the company, but it was a finance company. And you see it all the time in the furniture appliance business, but basically it's 100 days, same as cash. If you don't pay in 100 days, they break your leg, essentially. So people would come into our store, and there's different tier ratings in credit. So, you get A, B, and C. If you're an A, you're Synchrony Bank, you're some of the higher credit, and that's a 20% kind of loan. If you're a B credit, you're kind of in the middle. If you're a C credit, there's a whole world out there in kind of what you were talking about, Damon, with like Rent-A-Center and stuff. Well, these poor people would come into the store, and they'd want to get a new sectional, say it was $1,500. They would apply through this finance company, and the finance company said, okay, you don't have to put anything down today, but if you don't pay it off within 100 days, that $1,500 section is going to cost you $4,500. And they get around the they get around the loan laws by renting it. So basically, people would rent the furniture. Once they paid for it, they would own it. But we used to get in trouble with our distributor because, he would, sell it to us, and, he's making $500,000 a year in this business. And, meanwhile, the poor customer that can't afford it, and we wouldn't even sell it to our customers. We'd say, listen, if you can't pay this off in 100 days, we're not going to put you in that program. And we literally had customers mad at us. No, I want that sectional. And we're like, no, sorry, we're not going to do it because you're going to end up paying $5,000 over the next 2 years for something that you should have paid $1,500. So anyways, I thought it was fitting today reading that about Walmart. They're going to keep squeezing them, Damon. They're going to
well,
keep squeezing people.
well, damn, Tom. If every small business owner had the mindset you had, uh, that told the customer, "Nah, we're not gonna do you like that. We're just not gonna deal with that company. We're not gonna offer that deal." Um, what type of better predicament we'd be in today? We talked about earlier some of the topics we were going to talk about today on this podcast, and one of the topics I came up with, Tom, you came up with was we've been lied to, or they lied to us. At some point in your life, in your adult life, you reach a point where you just sit there quiet and you think to yourself, what the hell is going on here? Everything that I've been taught, everything that I thought I knew, everything since I was a child is a lie. It's a lie. And it's
Yeah,
kind of,
where were you? Where
yeah,
were you when you first realized we live in a corporate oligarchy disguised as a constitutional democracy. Where were you? Go ahead.
And it's like you come to the realization that this system is designed to keep you in debt, to keep you dependent on a system that was designed for us to have in place to protect us from what is exactly happening now, from big corporations, big companies, big government, from controlling us and taxing us to no end. You know, this whole country was founded on on freedom from taxation, from us saying, hey, we're not gonna bust our asses here and have someone just swoop in and take our money for everything we buy. Um, that's where this country was built and founded upon, you know. And now today, uh, about to be 2024, I think we are less free today than we were in any point in time in the past. And it brings up that saying I used to hear a lot. I used to hear my grandparents say it. I used to hear uh, people I worked with say it. The good old American dream. Huh. Well, what is that today? What is the good old American dream? It's not possible anymore. You know, before a family, a man could work, uh, make a good living. His wife would stay home and take care of the kids, and make sure the kids were good, and the husband was taken care of. And in return, the husband would supply the family with a good life. Uh, he made enough money so they could both have a car. They could have a vacation house, maybe a little boat, couple vacations a year. Put their kids to private school or Catholic school, or you know, today that's not possible. Not even with two people working. Because with two people working, what's happening now is there's nobody home with the kids. And who's being left to raise these kids? Social media. Social media, because the teachers are tired of it. They're being disrespected. They're even being hit and abused because the kids don't want to listen to anybody. They're not used to listening to anybody. They go home from school, mom and dad ain't home, they're at work. Or if mom or dad is home, they're sleeping because they just got home from work. So not only are the kids not getting the attention and the discipline and the parental guidance that they need to be productive members of society, um, either are the parents giving their self the self love and self care that they need. I said in the first podcast, the average person works 8 hours a day, 8 to 10 hours a day. They drive to and from work or travel to from work an hour or two, and then sleep for 8 hours. And then they got what? A couple hours left to do what? What are you doing? What are you doing after you sleep and work? What do you feel like doing then? Not much. You're not talking to your kids and finding out what's going on in their head. How do they feel? You know, um, I had the opportunity not too long ago to talk to my 14-year-old and just ask her, how do you feel about life? You know, what's life to you about right now? As a 14-year-old girl, what do you look forward? What do you want to be when you get a little bit older? What are your dreams? What are your aspirations? And she said, Dad, I don't know. She's like, I hate school. She's like, we don't learn nothing. The kids are mean. Everybody bullies each other or talks about the clothes they wear or how they style their hair or makeup. Everybody just judges everybody. It's just a toxic place. I don't even want to be there anymore. And I thought, wow, why did it take me so long to ask her this question? And the answer is, when did I have the time? When did I have the time? I work 60 hours a week. My wife works 40, 50 hours a week. Um, I come home from working 12 hours, and I'm tired. I go to sleep. I wake up, and guess what? It's time to go back to work. Um, so yeah, I was, to be honest with you, I figured this out through myself, being an absent parent. Because I wasn't talking to my kids because I didn't have the time to. But until I recognized that and was able to maybe change it a little bit, I was unable to make any progress there because I didn't have the time to continue uh, talking about it, trying to find a solution for her to try to make her life a little bit better. And that's when I came to the realization that, you know, this this path I'm on right now isn't going to change anything in my family, in my immediate family. You know, this working and saving and just doing things the 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 American way, that doesn't work anymore. Um, I got 6 kids. What am I going to leave a house to all of them so they can live in there? You know, it's just I it's funny we're doing this podcast while I'm feeling the way that I'm feeling right now because Tom, we were talking about the chart earlier. Our chart actually, since we did the last podcast, we actually almost 4x from that point now. We're at almost a 700K market cap. Um, we have a beautiful, beautiful chart right now. And all the people that I've been talking to get them, you know, trying to onboard them into crypto, I wind up having a conversation with them about the state of the economy, about the state of the country. And ironically, every person that I've spoke to so far, the conversation led to basically uncertainty with everyone. Every single person that I talked to expressed some type of uncertainty. Um, so yeah, man, it's bad, Tom. You know, I'm not surprised that Walmart made that announcement today. I was actually expecting probably Amazon to offer that first, but you know, why not Walmart? You know, it's going to be one of the two. You know, Tom, I remember you saying not too long ago that sooner or later, you'll be getting your oil changes at Microsoft. Well, the fact is, you'll
Yeah,
be
that's
getting
exactly right.
you'll be
Damon,
getting your.
you're
Go ahead.
talking about this stuff, and I'm thinking like, I talk about the Federal Reserve, and I know for a lot of people that aren't Federal Reserve people, they don't really understand it, and it's a world so far away from their world, but it's also intertwined with the politicians. And I mean, if you can really sum up what you just said to me in real simple terms, is people's incomes are not keeping up with the cost of living. So if you make 15 bucks an hour and you've got 2 jobs, a husband and wife both make 15 bucks an hour, that's bringing in $900 a month. So, it's, after, taxes, insurance, whatever, you're talking, I mean, not a month, a week, but $900 a week, which is $3,600 a month. That is, in today's world, a middle class lifestyle, which is, virtually miserable. I mean, because, the cost of rent, for example, has gone up from 700 to 1400 on the low end. In the middle end, it's gone from, 1100 to 2300. And the high end, it's gone up from, 1800 to 3500. So, I mean, people are supposed to have a maximum around a third of their income, in housing. So the example I just gave of 2 people working, 30 some hundred a month. Well, I mean, especially in a big city, you can't find a place to rent for 800 to 1,000 a month. People are paying 1,500, 2,100, 2,800. So anyways, I mean, but yet, do you hear any politician? Do you hear anybody talking? I mean, have you heard one politician in the last 5 years say, I'm Chuck Johnson, and I'm from the great state of South Dakota, and we need to fix incomes. We need to start boosting incomes in this country because incomes are not keeping up with the cost of living. You don't hear anybody. They get up and say, I'm whatever name from South Dakota, and we need to fund more wars, and
Well,
we need to
well,
get.
Tom, you said something that kind of triggered me a little bit there. You said middle class. They're the middle class. They're the middle of what? The middle of being piss poor and the middle of what? Wealthy? Uh,
Yeah,
15.
that's a good point, Damon. It's middle piss poor. Exactly. Yeah, no, you're a good point. That's a good
you
point.
know, $15 an hour. Each person making $15 an hour, 30 bucks, between both of them, and they're bringing in $3,600 a month. They consider that middle class. Middle of what? The middle of the damn uh the trash can? Because what is middle class? There is no middle class.
Exactly.
You're either rich. I mean, you're either well off, financially stable, or you're piss poor. That's it. There's no middle. There's no middle ground anymore. There was once a time when there was a middle class. You know, now I know I live near a lot of city workers, public officials, police officers, firefighters. They used to be the middle class. I talk to firefighters now, and they're just like, "Man, my salary just ain't enough, man. It's just not adding up." He's like, I finance my truck that I pay about $800 a month for, another $200 for insurance. There goes $1,000. Our mortgage is $2,700. I go, you can stop there. I already know. I already know where it's headed. You know, um, but you think about someone like that makes maybe starts out at 50 grand a year, maybe tops off around 60, 70 somewhere. Uh, that's nothing compared to what the cost of living is today, what the cost of food, the cost of utilities. My electric bill last month was $410. It's the highest it's ever been. The only thing on in my house is a few lights and maybe a TV in 4 rooms. Then the refrigerator, and that's it. How are we spending for using $400 worth of electricity? Um, it goes into this, Tom and Mike. Uh, Cryptocurrency is the only way out. It is the only financial vehicle that you can get into that will give you an opportunity to get away from that piss poor lifestyle. Because anything other than uh not working 50, 60 hours a week, spending time with your family and being actually there raising your kids and not allowing your kids to be raised by social media, by Cardi B and Kanye West and the Kardashians, because that's who's raising the kids. It's not us anymore. It's them, and they know that, and that's why they put these people in the position they're in to raise our kids for us. Um, but yeah, cryptocurrency is the only way out. And what do the politicians do? What do the big media do? They downplay they downplay cryptocurrency. You have the politicians and state representatives and the senators. You watch one of these commentary shows on Fox News or CNN, and they're up there and they're saying, "Yeah, we don't want cryptocurrency. We just voted against it." Meanwhile, check their portfolios. It's all filled with cryptocurrency. They don't want the public getting into cryptocurrency until BlackRock gets their ETFs approved, until the SEC and all the federal governments get their rules and regulations in place, and they own all the cryptocurrency before they tell the people, we don't care if you like cryptocurrency. We don't care if you even want to get into it. The fact of the matter is, you will. You have to. At that point, they'll be onboarding everyone, telling everyone, oh, cryptocurrency is the best thing in the world. Yup, when they own it all, they will. Right?
Hey
Go
Damon,
ahead.
one of my good friends I was talking to like 6 months ago, and he was asking me about stuff. And with my background, people ask me all the time what I think, But it's gotten to a point where I just literally, my direct response is up is down, left is right, forward is backwards. Nothing makes sense, kind of like what you were saying earlier. You could read every finance book in the world, but there's no finance book in the world that talks about, the Fed just printing money to oblivion and creating pain to as many people as they can. And stuff doesn't make sense, man. So it's like when I brought up that middle income thing, I did that on purpose. The middle class is being fragmented. And this is an article that my daughter-in-law shared with me, which was just fabulous, but it's true, which is the middle class is probably maybe a range from 50 grand to 150 grand, or 50 grand to maybe even 200,000. We have 70% of Americans are working paycheck to paycheck. There's people making 150 grand a year that are living paycheck to paycheck. And it might be, stupid spending. It might just be cost of living. It might be daycare. It might be all kinds of things. But basically, you know, the point of this article was the people that own homes are in the upper part of the middle class, and the ones that own homes that have that refinanced their mortgage rates before rates went up, and they're sitting with a $1,500 a month payment versus the new person buying. So the new person buying the same house is going to have to pay triple the price. The price is up 2x, but with rates going up, it makes it 3x. So that $1,500 mortgage, really is $4,500. So there was a reason I said that, because when you look at the nation stats, the average income is 50 some thousand, which is a joke, because had they not had all this inflation, 50 some thousand people could actually get by. But you're right, Damon, they shouldn't even call it middle class. I don't even know what they should call it, piss poor, because that's about what it can do for everybody. But no politician's talking about it. No one seems to care. And your point, Damon, about crypto is such a good point, because pick anything in the world. They say your American dream is, go buy a house, get a mortgage, whatever, work at your job, da da da. No. You know how the rich get rich? The rich get rich when their money works for them while they sleep. They get rich when some investment they, did, goes up significantly in price while they're vacationing. They get rich because their stock portfolio goes up a huge amount. They get rich because their business is sold for a higher price. They don't get rich, going to, work at a $15 to $25 an hour job, 50 hours a week, with $1,200 a month in daycare and $1,900 in rent, and like you said, $400 in utilities, et cetera, et cetera. But, crypto is the only thing I'm aware of too, Damon, in the world that actually people, they can do their research and get to know more about it. It is the only way that I know of that people can basically get out of, potentially get out of, the crap life that the system has spun upon us. And Mike, weren't you saying that the amount of people in the world that are involved in cryptocurrency is only like 5%? I think in America it's much higher.
Maybe less than that. And I will say we have definitely we're not entering a paradigm shift. We're on the other side of a paradigm shift. We have entered a time, I like to say it's the have nots and the have yachts with very
Well,
little in between.
well, we'll see.
And
We have. I'm sorry, Mike. I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say that I've always had like my entire adult life I've had a three-prong approach to being an entrepreneur. Because I never really bought the whole if you work hard, you'll get ahead. If you work hard, yeah, that's what they tell people that they want to be employees and work hard for the company to make the company money. You actually have to work smart. So I've always had a three-prong approach. That's management, sales, and investing. Always have a situation you're presiding over that you're managing. For the average person, that could be as simple as an online business you run from home that you're managing, or it could be a little bit more complex, like what I do. Um, have something you're selling, have some product that you're selling in the real world that people could use. It's always good to have that, right? Even if at the end of the day, if it doesn't work, it could be a tax write-off. But have something you're selling. Sales is a big deal, right? But investing, perhaps the most important out of the three, investing. And in this day and age, cryptocurrency is the best investment anyone could make. 100%. Maybe there's some low cap gem in the stock market, a low cap company that just started that's going to have some future technology that's going to do great in the next 10 years. Does that exist? Of course it does. It always does. But you're not going to put money into Apple and have a 10x in the next couple of years. It's not going to happen. You're not even going to have a 1x. Some of these companies have grown pretty much as big as they could grow, and they're not really coming out with anything new and innovative. That happens with every company. They reach their maximum. So cryptocurrency is the number one investment vehicle for the average person in this day and age. And I highly recommend anyone within the sound of my voice learn about it. Learn
Yeah,
about
do research
cryptocurrency.
and learn. Yeah, absolutely.
Research it. Learn the difference between a centralized exchange like Coinbase and a decentralized swap mechanism like a Uniswap or DeFi, decentralized finance. Learn about it. The more you know, the better you'll be when we get into a full-fledged bull market when everything is just flying. And it's time. And the bear markets or just right before the bull markets are the best time to learn, and it's the best time to build. And we at the Wisdom Bank Network. Okay, I'm kidding, but yeah. That's what we've done here. We've built a financial vehicle for people to invest in and win.
I
That's what
keep
we've done
hearing,
here.
I keep hearing the saying, the halvening is coming, and that's a term for Bitcoin, and it
Yeah.
happens, I believe, every 4 years, right? So, what I also believe, on the other hand, what is happening right now is the halvening on this planet, and what's happening is society is separating into two sides, and the one side, and that's the majority, the collective, the 99% of people, they will remain in a sleep state of a automatic, basically an automated life, where for the most part of a person's life, they'll graduate, they'll go through school, they'll spend 12, 13, 14, 15 years of school, they'll graduate, they'll get a good job, and for the next 30, 40 years, every single day they will do the exact same thing. They'll get up in the morning, they'll get ready for work, they'll go to work, oh, excuse me, they'll go to work, they'll come home, they'll eat, they'll sleep, and they'll get up again and go to work and do the same thing over. The only thing that'll change in their life on a yearly basis is they may go on one vacation, they may go to a couple, maybe office parties or family get togethers around the holidays. They may go to their kid's school play, or if their kid's a musician, may go to a concert. Uh, but that's all that they do. It's automated. Well, then you have the other half. And this is not the half, this is the less than 1% of people. The less than 1% of people that wake up and realize that I can't win this way. I'm not going to change anything in my family structure this way. I'm just going to go through life the same way my parents have, their parents have, and down the line. And we're not going to leave our kids nothing. And each generation that comes will struggle. And nothing's going to change. It's going to continue that way. And that's what's happening on this planet. It's the happening. We have a new Earth emerging, and the new Earth it's not a physical new Earth. It's a mental, it's a spiritual new Earth here. And I know that this is true because I met you guys through this. I met many other people through this. But what it's also done is I have left a lot of people behind. I have outgrown a lot of people. I even outgrew myself to the point that I had to relearn everything. And I'm self educated. Yeah, I got a high school diploma. Yeah, I have an associate's degree. That did nothing for me. It absolutely did nothing. It did not prepare me for my adult life. Now, what did prepare me for my adult life was going through life, making some bad decisions, making some good decisions. But in the end, realizing that what was it all for? To one day having to take all that garbage and remove it from my mind, remove it from my brain, and then self educate myself on the important things: consciousness, manifestation, vibrations, frequencies, waves, things that things that actually matter, things that are actually real. Uh, Manifestation is real. Whether you're manifesting positive vibes or you're manifesting negative vibes, you manifest your reality, and based on what you have up here or in your chest, in your heart, is what you manifest. If you're a miserable person, well, guess what misery loves? You're right, company. That's what misery loves. But you know what else? You know what else happens when you're vibrating with a lot of pure energy? You vibrate beautiful things into your life. You attract like-minded people. You put yourself around people that think like you. And when you have people that think like you begin to discuss our current state of reality for us. And one or two people maybe off their rocker, but when 100 to 200 to 1,000 to 10,000 people all are thinking the same damn way, it isn't. They're not conspiracy theorists. They're not these lunatics or these unhinged imbeciles. These people actually know what's going on. They realize that this is a gang and we're not part of it. You know, our government at one point, I believe at some point, probably did represent the people, but those days are over. These people don't represent us. Not one politician that gets elected into office had a life that they struggled from, that they had to work hard and how do you say it in a way where you don't want to be too harsh, but you want to bring out the
Pull
reality.
yourself up. They didn't have to pull themselves up by their bootstraps, like they say, because they were never down in the first place.
Right, right. They were never in the mud to begin with, so they never had to come out of the dirt. They never had to fight their way through poverty. They never had to, fight their way from not being a victim of their surroundings, or being a product of their environment. They get in office and they say they represent the majority of the people, but the majority of the people are piss poor and they
Well,
can't
Damon,
relate to, go ahead,
I
World.
think I really think some of this, is this new whoever started the concept that everyone wins a trophy should be locked away. I mean, it's the most idiotic thing that I've ever seen in my lifetime, or one of the most idiotic things. But like right now, we've had 15 years without a recession. The Fed just keeps printing money. So rather than allowing us to have a recession, they're going to just keep printing money until we can't have a recession. It reminds me of the everyone wins a trophy. We can't have a loser. So when you're sitting here talking about this, that's all I can think about. Like every great thing I've done in my life, it's been because I've lost money or I've made a mistake or whatever it is. I mean, that's a blessing, like you say, Damon, or a lesson. And it's like when you take that out of the mix in the world, the formula just doesn't, it doesn't add up. And it makes me think of the guy that started FedEx. I don't know if you guys know that story, but it's an amazing story. A guy named Fred Smith, and he started FedEx, and he had an idea for, his packaging company, moving packages around the country. And he was in his college dissertation or whatever, and the professor gave him a bad grade, said it would never work. You can't take a package from Boston and send it to Memphis and then send it to, Fort Lauderdale or whatever. So anyways, he said, screw that, I'm still going to do it. Guy gets out of college, starts his business. Well, he falls flat on his butt and just can't make payroll. Fred Smith, the guy that founded FedEx Corporation, was down to $5,000. He had $5,000 to his name. He flies out to Las Vegas, or he drives there, however he got there, and he basically literally gambled and made $10,000 or whatever it was for him to make payroll. And had he not made that payroll, his company wouldn't have survived. And here we are, 50 years later, 60 years later, and that's FedEx. So you hit a nerve with me with that with Damon, because it's like, we have to endure pain for us to wake up to experience greatness. And I'm listening to you talk, and I think it's so true because the beauty about cryptocurrency in 2023, we like to say this is the greatest time to be alive. It is, but at the same time, there's more people struggling, and with just all the crap that, like you said, the politicians not backing them, not speaking up for them, cost of living, et cetera, et cetera. But it's one of those things that the opportunity is there. And I think that's one of the reasons I like crypto, because it is a free market. It's not a market where, everyone gets a trophy. The person that does the most research, the person that does the most work, the person that, is in the right place at the right time, et cetera, is what, gets the trophy.
Well,
So,
Tom, that's why there's a sense of urgency here, uh, with crypto, and it's why I think we're so passionate about the WBN, the Wisdom Bank Network, because we do have a cryptocurrency here that will give people the boost. It will give them the financial stability that they need, to move past these generational stains, these generational curses that been passed down. It will give them an opportunity to be free, free of this corrupt system where you don't have to depend on a government. You don't have to depend on all these subsidies that they have out here, and oh yeah, you know what? We got food stamps for you. We got Medicare for you. But you have to vote for this guy. You have to get him in there. Once we get him in there, don't worry. We're good, guys. Don't worry. Your food stamps get knocked up a couple $100 a month. The health care get better. Don't worry. We just have to get the right people in there. That's why there is a sense of urgency right now, Tom, because cryptocurrency is the way out, and the people's perception of it is all screwed up because there's nobody out there giving them the necessary information that they need so they can maybe look into cryptocurrency. So I believe one of our utilities here, and I believe it is the main utility of this project, is the community of like-minded people. And our mission here, and you know, we said this since day one here, that our mission is to onboard regular people to crypto before it's too late and they don't have the opportunity to make the necessary adjustments in their life so they can stop repeating the same generational curses that's being passed down because you don't get out of that. And I say this based on my upbringing, and I say this up on my lifestyle up until this point. I haven't always been uh, a productive member of society, to say the least. I always was the one to take risks and go against the grain because somewhere deep down, I came up uh, in a horrible environment. I grew up in a household where my mother got beat. I came alcoholic stepfather, and I know this might not sound good if you listen to this podcast, huh? But the truth sounds like hate to those who hate the truth. You know, I was doomed from the start. If there was a book for me by the time I turned 18 and you'd have read that book, you said this kid ain't gonna fucking make it. This kid don't stand a chance. Uh, I came from a family that passed down a lot of generational curses and a lot of generational stains. I grew up in a household with a battered woman who, against all odds, still was the best mother she could be, even though she was faced with an abusive relationship. That she was on welfare and we had uh, medical through welfare and food stamps. And I remember that sometimes the only thing we had for dinner some nights were buttered noodles. And I was so sick of buttered noodles that every time I smelled my mom cooking them, I wanted to throw up. But it was either eat that or go to bed hungry. You know, so I know what it's like to come from nothing. And cryptocurrency has given me the opportunity to change that trajectory. Where my kids, well, luckily, I was able to break some of those patterns and not grow up, have my kids not grow up in an abusive household where I beat my wife. Uh, they didn't witness that. They didn't have to witness that because I went through that and I decided that I wasn't going to do that. I wasn't going to be that person. Hold on, let me take a sip, guys. Uh, I decided that I wasn't going to be that person because I despised that person. Um, I had uncles who were in and out of prison, uh, sold drugs, and nobody ever really had a job. Everybody did illegal shit. So that's what I had to look forward to. Uh, and for the most part, I followed that path until one day I had an adult timeout and I sat down and I was able to to dig deep inside of me and say, who are you? What are you? Are you someone your kids can be proud of? Are you someone your daughter can bring to school and say, this is my dad. This is what he does for a living. I wasn't that person, man. And that day changed my life forever because I realized that I didn't have anybody telling me. I didn't have any older people, quote unquote, old heads around me telling me, this isn't the way, man. I had people around me, yeah, let's get it. Let's do it. I didn't have anybody telling me, this isn't normal, Dane. What you're doing isn't normal. What do you think your kids are going to do when they grow up? You think you're being a good role model here? So the last 5 to 10 years of my life, I've been turning things around. And the last couple, cryptocurrency has gave me hope to the hope in the believing that I'm going to leave my kids a legacy here. I'm going to leave my kids something that they can depend on. And hopefully I can change their mindset and get them involved in cryptocurrency and get them involved in digital currency and have them thinking different than other kids. You know, I don't want my kids to own nothing and be happy. I don't. I'm not going to be here to protect them. I'm not going to be here to clean up all their messes. I'm not going to be here to direct them when they make a mistake. So I have to make the changes now. And it's hard, man. It's not easy. I struggle every day of my life trying to change what was instilled in me. You know, yeah, I had values and morals and principles. They were all there. But I lived by a street code: loyalty, respect, honor. It was this fictitious gangster movie lifestyle that, quite frankly, was bullshit. Uh, it was all fake. It was all phony. There was no loyalty. There was no love. There was no integrity. It was every man for himself. And fortunately, I had the opportunity to sit down and find myself and figure out what I wanted to do in life. And I told you guys when I first met you guys, one of the things I used to say a lot was, find your gift and give it away. That's your purpose in life. Find your gift and give it away. Well, what my gift is I'm good at cryptocurrency, man. Finally, I'm good at something other than selling fucking drugs, man. Finally, I'm good at something where I can put my heart and my soul into it and have something positive. Um, and I'm good at it. And I love the fact that I'm good at something that is so beneficial, that can actually change my life. And I just want to pass that on, man. And that's what we have here with this project. We have a project of like-minded people that we're all not the same. We all didn't grow up the same. Some of you guys probably never sold a drug in your life or even been around someone who sold a drug. But that's the beauty of this team here. We had people from all walks of life that came together here because we had one thing in common. We were selfless. We weren't selfish. We knew, we knew that we can change the world. And although we can't change the world for everybody, we could change the world for some people. And that's why I love cryptocurrency. And that's why we're here today doing this podcast. So we can get our voices out there to the people that are going through some things in life, man. Because I know people are going through some shit in life right now, man, where they feel as though nobody is listening. Nobody hears them. Well, I'm just going to tell you, we hear you. We know. We know what you're going through. We have some people on this team, in this project, that are struggling with us. They're not well off right now. They're here in crypto because they're trying to change that. And I'm just blessed, man. I'm blessed to be able to be here with you guys, to be here today on this podcast, uh, and doing what we're doing here. You know, um, onboarding people to cryptocurrency. That's my
Man,
mission now. So
dude, it's been great to see this project go from stressful to successful. Now, I have a saying, and that saying is the truth is never for the collective, the truth has always been for the few. And what concerns me, what I'm worried about, is that the majority of people will finally learn about cryptocurrency and what it could do for them when it's almost too late. when it's overregulated, when the majority of it's bought up by corporation and it's tightly controlled, and you can no longer make that 1000x that'll change your life, and the good times are in the rear view mirror for the most part, right? Just like the stock market is for most people. Okay, that's what concerns me, and that's why I've forced myself to come out of my shell in a way. And what I mean by that is everything I've ever sold has been through art, right? I've never really shielded anything. I've been a consultant, but I only tell people what I think they should do based on them asking me for my opinion. I've never been like the type of guy that just out of nowhere goes, "Hey, you should do this. You should do this. You should buy this. You should invest in that." It's really against my nature, but I feel compelled to at this point because I think it's going to be too late for a lot of people. And I don't want to look back and go, I didn't do my part. Why didn't I just say something? I could have saved a whole lot of people a lot of stress if I would have just told them, hey, invest in this, invest in that. And yes, I don't have a shield bone in my body, but the Wisdom Bank Network is something everyone should at least consider investing in. And I'll leave
Yeah,
it at
Mike.
that.
Yeah, Mike. Time, unfortunately, is not on our side right now.
No.
It's really not. And the beautiful thing about cryptocurrency is it is decentralized. There are no government officials here telling you, oh, you can't 1000x anymore. When you get to 10x, you have to file this tax form and do this and do that, and that's not
Eventually they
here.
will, though.
Oh, they
Eventually they
will.
will.
Oh, they will. And that's why BlackRock filed for the ETFs. Because when BlackRock gets these ETFs approved, and I don't think people understand the severity of what's about to happen here. BlackRock, and if you go back, people, mark my words, go Google BlackRock and then Google who owns BlackRock. You'll see it's Vanguard. Then type in who owns Vanguard. It'll say BlackRock. And then type in what does BlackRock and Vanguard own? You're going to be blown away when you come to find out that BlackRock and Vanguard own 94% of everything. And when I say everything, I literally mean everything. Yeah, Jeff Bezos is the name on Amazon, but guess who owns majority of Amazon stock? BlackRock. Uh-huh. Uh just type any big corporation in there, and you'll find out that BlackRock owns it. Well, now BlackRock applied for ETFs for Bitcoin and Ethereum and all the other cryptocurrencies. And when our government approves that, what's going to happen is you're going to see Bitcoin go from 40,000 to about 400,000. And that's going to be because BlackRock and Vanguard own majority of all of it. So the normal person won't have an opportunity to buy a Bitcoin for 40,000. Oh, mind you, people, this year you could have bought Bitcoin for 15,000 earlier in the year. But you won't be able to buy Bitcoin anymore for 40,000 or 44,000. It'll be 400,000. You'll be buying fractions of a share of Bitcoin because at that point, BlackRock will own it all. And that's when our government and the media will start pushing it. Get into cryptocurrency. Switch your 401k from the stock market to cryptocurrency now because BlackRock has Bitcoin and Ethereum and this and that. Well, right now, you don't need BlackRock. You don't need Vanguard. You have yourself. You can open up a crypto wallet and you can invest small amounts of money. That during the next bull run, which is within the next year or so, some of those cryptocurrency projects will 1000x. Some will 20,000x. And if you could put $1,000 on a project and it 1000x's, I want you to do the calculations. I'm not even going to tell you what that is. 1,000 times 1,000. That's life changing money. That can get you passive income. That can do a lot of things for you. That will stop you from living paycheck to paycheck. I assure you that. But there's a time of urgency right now, and that's why we're so passionate about this project, because we know our time is limited. Time is of the essence here, and we're trying to get as many people as we can into cryptocurrency because now is your opportunity. Now is the time to get in and really solidify your mark here. Solidify your mark in the world. You want to leave a legacy? You want to change the life for your kids and your grandkids? Well, the answer is cryptocurrency. Don't listen to the people lying to you, telling you that cryptocurrency is a scam or it's a rug pull or it's all fake monopoly money. I assure you 1000% that cryptocurrency is real and it is legit and it will change your life. And all you have to do, man, is take a leap of faith. All you have to do is listen, take a risk. I promise you, it will be worth it. And that's why we're here doing this podcast, because we have a cryptocurrency called WBN, Wisdom Bank Network. And here at Wisdom Bank Network, me, Tom, Mike, and 9 other people got together and we created this project. And for 3 months, we built this thing from the ground up and we made it bulletproof. This can't be destroyed. And one thing I want to talk about tonight, and I went on a little rant there for a little minute, and I apologize. But one thing I want to talk about with cryptocurrency, one of the most important things that determines the outcome or the success of a cryptocurrency is the team and the holders, early holders, because they're the ones that get to hold the floor. They're the ones that get to determine the outcome of the cryptocurrency. And here at WBN, you have the team and you have a lot of early holders. And a lot of the early holders here are first time cryptocurrency wallet holders. They never traded cryptocurrency before. The first cryptocurrency they ever bought was WBN. And that's important because two things. Number one, these people aren't looking to double their money and get out. These people are looking for life changing money. So they're not going to touch their position. Either is the team going to touch their position. So at some point here in the near future, within the next few days, this project is going to take off and it's going to go into the millions. And people will feel safe coming into the project because they know that the team behind this project, the early holders of this project, are protecting this project and making sure that everybody that gets involved stands a chance here. And that's the beauty of it. That's why I'm excited. That's why I'm passionate. And that's why every single day of my life, I wake up, I have a smile on my face because I know we're going to change people's lives. And that's the greatest feeling in the world. You know, for a long time, I was lost in a sense. I didn't know what my purpose was here on this planet. I didn't. Used to question, why am I here? What is all this for? All this pain, all this suffering. And then one day I realized it. This isn't about me. This is about this is about spirituality. This is about selflessness. This is about making this world a better place for my kids, a better place for your kids. And you can do that through cryptocurrency. It's about the only thing you can do it through. Uh, one thing we're going to do in this project is we're going to give back. We're going to give back to the communities. We're going to give back to the holders, and we're going to give back to the world. And like I said before, we can't change the world, but we can change the world for some people. And that's good enough for me. And I believe that's good enough for this team here. Um, but yeah, guys, I'm I'm so hyped, man. You know, I go on my little rants, and you know, I tone it down a lot, guys, on these podcasts, uh, because I try not to get too passionate, uh, because I know there's people that's going to be listening to these podcasts right now that are very influential, um, or easily influenced. I'll say that people that are easily influenced. So when they come and they listen to these podcasts, I tone it down because I know I have to water it down. I have to water myself down so people can swallow me. Because if not, I'd be a little bit too much. Because I tell the truth. I tell it like it is. I don't hold back. I tell you exactly how I see it. And that's something that I always stood on. Just be honest, man. If people don't like you, they just ain't gonna like you. But if you
Hey,
tell the truth, they'll accept it.
hey, Damon, that's one thing I love about this group is, we all come from different backgrounds, but we've got the same mission, we got the same goals, and, I really haven't talked much about this, but it's really, really, important to me. But this project I'm dedicating to my grandkid, and I got to spend some time with him last weekend, and you know, I told my son, not to get all emotional, but like I I'm so passionate about this project because of what it means for him. He's 2 years old. This kid's 2 years old. And, what's the world going to be like when he's 40 or 50? What's school going to be like when he's a kid? What's he going to learn? What's social media going to be like then? What is, is the Constitution even going to be standing? I mean, what's a dollar going to be worth? A house in 1970 was 12 grand and the person made 12 grand. Today it's, we talked about it last podcast, but it's 450 grand and the average people, make 50 grand. So, is the average house going to be 16, 20 million in 40 years? And the income's only going to go up like 30 grand or something. I mean, like, where are we headed with this? So to me, the reason I'm so passionate about this is because, like you said, Damon, we don't have time, and we're not trying to sit here on a podcast and be, crazy alarmists and stuff. It's the reality of what we're dealing with here. It's what we're faced with, so, like we talked about last time, we're telling the truth. And, and that's what I love about WBN is we're a voice for the people. Someone's got to face these problems. I'm not a politician. I never wanted to be a politician. But you know what? If the politicians aren't going to do something, we're going to do whatever we can. That's why I'm giving my life to this project, man. This is for my kids. This is for my grandkids. This is very, very personal to me. And I just feel blessed and fortunate to have met you guys. To met the entire group of 12 of us. I think we're the most dynamic group that's ever existed in cryptocurrency. And, I'm just really, really thankful. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. I just wanted to say that. It's just, as you were talking, Damon, it's making me think more and more of my grandkid. And every time I think about him, I get all emotional. But this deal's important, man. This deal is an important, not only to our family or my family, to our group, the group's family, to like you said, if we can help hundreds, if not thousands of people, we're gonna do it damn well. However we're gonna get it done, we're gonna get it done. So those are my.
Tom, you know, I appreciate, you saying that, even though I felt the emotion, man. Um, but it's the same for me. Um, I'm helping my daughter raise her son, and it's making my other my other daughters who have kids, it's making them jealous, and it kind of, I'm bringing this up because it's relevant. I have to bring it up. I put everything out there. I'm an open book. Um, it was like World War III in my house yesterday, and it's a lot of hidden animosity with my daughters. I have a 24-year-old, 25-year-old, an 18-year-old, and a 14-year-old. And I also have two sons, who's 17 and 28. Well, my daughters, my 18-year-old, who my grandson's now 3. I knew she wasn't ready for a kid, right? I knew she wasn't. She didn't experience being a teenager yet. And I told her, I said, you're making a decision here that's you know that's going to change your life drastically. Once he's born, it's not about you anymore. It's about him. Well, she's a good mom. She's a great mom. Well, recently, a couple months ago, she decided to run away with her boyfriend, and me and my wife was left to take care of my grandson. Well, my oldest daughters, who I didn't know this at the time, uh, looked at that as if me and my wife was treating that grandchild different than we were treating their kids. And yesterday, a lot of truth surfaced because I let my daughter come back home. You know, she apologized, said, Dad, I'm sorry. It was the worst decision I ever made, and I have nowhere to go. I said, you can come home. Well, they didn't think she should come back home. They thought I should leave her on the streets and let her figure it out. I said, I will never do that. I don't care how many times my kids fuck up. I'm not going to say she's dead to me. That's my child, somebody that I birthed, you know. And they said, well, you should have asked us first. And I looked at them. I said, the entitlement, the entitlement that you have. Where did this come from? This isn't from me. This isn't from your mothers. Where's this entitlement from? You know. And then it came out. You treat her kid better than my kid, and I said, whoa, 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 whoa. Where's all this coming from? Like, you really have the secret animosity against a 3-year old? Where's that coming from? Where's that anger and where's that hate coming from? But this project, uh, and they said something yesterday too. They said, well, for the last 3 months, you've been on screaming on your phone, and you haven't been present. You don't know what's going on in this house because you're on that stupid phone all day, yelling and screaming on Twitter. And I said, if you knew what I was doing for the last 3 months, you wouldn't have just said that. I said, you don't even know what I sacrificed for the last 3 months uh, on that phone. I said, I'm building a project. I was building a project that's going to change your life, that's going to change these babies' lives. I've given everything to this project. And yes, I have sacrificed the last 3 months to this project. And maybe I wasn't present during those 3 months when I should have been. Maybe I wasn't. But I know that everything I put into this project was worth it. I know everything I sacrificed. I know every moment, every second, and every hour that I put into this project. It's going to change people's lives. It's not just going to change our life. It's going to change other people's lives who otherwise wouldn't have a way out. So I'm sorry that I wasn't present. I'm sorry that you feel the way that you feel. I said, but this is important to me. When I look at my grandkids, I think like you, Tom. Uh, I think, what's this world going to be like When he's 20, 25 years old, 30 years old, I look back and back when I was 10, 15, 20, and from that time to now, nobody, these kids wouldn't even understand the difference between now and then. So I know how different it's going to be for these babies, for these grandbabies. Because I have 8 grandkids, eight, 6 kids and 8 grandkids. I have to hustle harder than the average man. I have to go harder than the average man, and I have to sacrifice more than the average man. And that doesn't make me any better. Doesn't make me special. It just makes me a responsible person. That I have to go harder. So when they said that, oh, you haven't been present the last 3 months, and it kind of was like, only if you knew what I was doing. And but it goes back to, I tried to explain to these kids, to these girls, when I was doing the spaces, and when we were in the Telegram chats all night, and I was trying to when they were asking me, what are you yelling in the phone for? I said, well, I'm yelling because we're building a project here, a cryptocurrency project that's going to change people's lives. Oh, that cryptocurrency was, it's fake. That's what they said to me. And I'm thinking, I said to him, I said, who told you it was fake? I said, sweetheart, let me show you something. Come here. Look at this wallet. And I showed him my wallet. I said, you think that's fake? Yeah, it's on there. It's not in your bank account. I said, you want to see me move it to my bank account? Would that help you? Would that make you feel better and know that it's real? They didn't want to hear it. They didn't want to talk about it. So I didn't even ask them what made them think that it's fake. What made them think that this is not real? And the thought in my head was just like, wow, this is how most people feel. This is how the average person feels about cryptocurrency. So I knew our job wouldn't be easy here, guys. I knew it wouldn't be easy because I couldn't even explain it to my 25 and 24-year-old daughter because they didn't have the patience to listen. They didn't have the patience to understand exactly what it is. So I know while we're going to get a lot of people that believe in us, and I hope these podcasts help a little bit more, you know, there's going to be a lot of people we're going to miss, and they're not going to make it. They're just not going to make it. And when I say they're not going to make it, what I mean by that is they're not going to change their life. They're not going to change anything in their family structure. They're going to go on, they're going to work their 9 to 5 jobs. Their kids are going to do the same thing. When their kid gets in a race or a sporting tournament, they're going to come in last place and they're going to reward it with a trophy. Everybody wins. No competition anymore. Uh, yeah, this project is everything to me too, Tom. You know that. You guys know that. You guys know the days and the nights that I put into this because I believe in this. You know, that I don't talk to anybody else except you guys anymore. I don't even have any outside friends or acquaintances that I talk to anymore. I outgrew everybody. And I outgrew everybody because nobody's trying to do anything different. Everybody just wants to be the same person for the rest of their life. Not me. When I meet people today, or I bump into people from my past, I have to reintroduce myself because I'm not the same person that I was. And if people can't recognize that, okay, cool. I'll move on, you move on, and we'll go our separate ways. But I removed a lot of people out my life because I outgrew people. I knew uh I had to get away from that that way of thinking because the way you think determines the outcome of your life. It's what you think, is what you live. If you can't change your mind, then you can't change your life.
Yes, indeed. As a man thinketh, so is he. Tom, you got any closing words for us here on tonight's podcast?
Um, my only closing words, Mike, is, you know, Damon summed a lot of this up tonight, but we're just getting started, man. Um, we're all emotional tonight. I feel it in the air. I feel Damon's emotion. I think you probably feel my emotion as well. Um, there's a lot of problems in the world, and we're not going to solve all the problems by any means, but we think we're going to help a lot of people, and we're going to do it selflessly. We're going to do it ethically correct, and we're going to do it together, most importantly. And I just thank you again, Mike, for podcast number 2. Look forward to the next one. And I look forward to watching the growth of the WBN token. It's been a fun week, and I just have a feeling that next week is going to be even a little bit more fun. But that's all I got, Mike. Thanks.
Yes, indeed. We do this in the spirit of winning. And when I say spirit, I mean a unseen reality that manifests itself in that which is seen. Damon, give us your final thoughts for this evening, please.
Okay, I got some final thoughts for you guys. Emotional energy. Emotional energy in itself is neutral. It is the feeling of sensation and the physiological reaction that makes a specific emotion positive or negative. An emotionally exhausting interaction can leave us feeling like, can make us feeling like our tank is on empty. In order to remain grounded, we need to cultivate an awareness of the energy we're encountering on a daily basis. And we need to implement practical tools which allow us to remain balanced. So protect your emotional energy. Keep yourself away from negative energy. Surround yourself with positive energy, positive people. One thing I like to say to people is, and this is one of my greatest sayings, the truth sounds like hate to those who hate the truth. And with that, guys, it's been a pleasure. I look forward to this. I look forward to doing more and more podcasts and bringing awareness to people. But yeah, it's a pleasure. It's always a pleasure with you guys. Yeah, I'll leave it there.
Absolutely. And everybody check us out on wisdombanknetwork.com. And for everybody within the sound of my voice, protect your spirit. Be careful of the energy that you allow into your life. I hope you all live as long as you want and never want as long as you live. For Damon, Tom, this is Michael Anthony. Until next time, we out of here.